Yes. We are recording.
Consented.
Hello, it's Portal Games and this is 100 episodes of vlog. For 100 days we are growing our channel and today is a super special episode. You probably already saw it's much longer than usually because I had a special guest and we had a chit chat about clickbait, about growing YouTube channels, about anger and how the brain processes when something happens. This is Jason from Shelf Stories. We will put a link to his channel in the description as well. So have a cup of tea, sit down and listen to this interview with Jason. We planned it for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, ended up almost an hour. It was a great talk. And as always, please put in the comments below what you think about this content, what you think about our discussion. If you enjoy that, watch it, have fun. Hello, this is Ignacy Trzewiczek and today, for the first time on my vlog, a special guest. Hello,
yo, my people. What's up? My name is Jason Perez. I'm from the Shelf Stories YouTube channel. Ignacy and I are old friends. We have been interacting since 2016. I don't know if you remember on 2016, you were on my other show talking about First Martians, which I will continue to say is a good game. So if you see it on your clearance shelf for $5, give it a chance. See if First Martians is a game for you. But yes, so we did interact about some of your vlogs, and we're here to talk about that.
So I recorded a vlog and I decided for the very clickbaity title that was why board game gameplays suck. I think that was the first one.
Why board game Twitch streams suck?
No, Twitch stream no. Why streams?
Okay, live plays. Why live plays suck? Yeah.
And that was my clickbaity title to bring some attention to the vlog because I'm struggling with getting a new audience. So I figured let's do some more clickbaity title. And then I was very surprised when things happen on Twitter. So before we start, because we'll be discussing today these topics, before we start and dive into the details, two things. First of all, I want to say it very, very clear and official. I didn't mean to offend anyone. If anyone was felt offended, that was not my intention. That was just simple clickbait title, and we will discuss it later, of course, in the detail. But first of all, sorry, I didn't mean to offend anyone. And then on the next thing is that during this whole storm on Twitter, I felt offended. So now I'm the hurt person. I feel bad. I feel sorry. So crazy things happened because of this one stupid miniature on YouTube channel. First, some people felt very, very bad. Then Ignacy, that is me, felt very, very bad. So bad things happen. And that there was a lot of controversy, discussion. And Jason was one of the people who commented and recorded a video about these things, and I was like blown away how different approach was yours in your commentary. Like you didn't went for any arguing, any like storming. You just said, I know this stuff, this is my knowledge, this is my expertise, this is my opinion. So obviously we will link in this my video to this your video so everyone can watch it, but if you can explain in just in a few words once again, like a summary what you said. So that was you telling me what these clickbaity titles may do.
Okay, so well, first of all, just kind of defining clickbait. So because it's different definitions. So clickbait, I'm using a broader definition. A clickbait title is something that just like cheats, is something that gets past our reason. You know, our reason is like up here. Oh, by the way, I'm a psychotherapist, so this is my day job. I mean, I'm a psychology person. That's the lens through which I saw the video. That's how I responded to Ignacy. So then a clickbait title for me is something that bypasses our reason and doesn't give a case, but it goes for our emotions. And in this case, provocation, right? Ignacy provoked. And he wanted to. Clearly, it's like, I gotta get views. Provoking seems to work, and it does. It does. Like did you get more views for that vlog than any other video?
Yep. Now, the initial was very high. It's now slow because I changed the title to not offend anyone. As when I understand that this is maybe not the best title in the world, but now it's 2,000 views, while on average I have a 500 views. So it is 4 times
Right.
more than usually.
And that it works. And this is here what we're here to talk about. The fact that, A, it works. So people are gonna do it. But B, there's a line you cross, right? And we'll talk about where that line is, but I think Ignacy clearly crossed the line in the title, in the sense that now you're attacking something that people care about. I don't know if to your credit, you didn't attack a person, but attacking something that people care about is almost like the same thing, especially when there's not a context. It's not like Ignacy is this. Oh, there goes Ignacy again. It was a very much surprise. I was like, what are you doing? And so so that's clickbait. Clickbait was just kind of bypassing reasons, going towards the emotions. In this particular case, it's anger and attacking and everything. So then so I explained we don't want that, and it just has a long-term corrosive effect in our community. It being constantly angry, being constantly provoked is part of the problem. So if we can't give clickbait titles that cross the line and then say, why are we so polarized in our community? Why is it can't everybody get along? Because we have a lot of people who are engaging a lot of provocation just for the attention and the clicks. So as a part of it, that's only a part of the story. But so that was my contribution in terms of a very quick summary of my video.
Yep. And on one hand, I fully agree with what Jason is saying and what he said in this video that was much longer and was discussing the brain part, and I learned about things that I never knew. And so on one hand, I fully understand and I fully agree, and in other hand, I fully disagree, and that's why I sent a private message to Jason and said,
Right,
"Hey,
right.
let's discuss it because let's show different points of view and see what we can do with this topic." So. One thing that I saw in the comments after this video was that people said when I was saying that, because the whole and this video was part of the longer experiment. I'm doing experiment. I'm doing 100 vlogs for 100 days, trying to grow my channel. And I said in the first video that was called the experiment, I said openly, I think that considering the sales numbers of board games, considering the number of users of Board Game Geek, 2.5 million users, the number of viewers watching content on YouTube is proportionally too small. I see. We sell 7 million copies of Ticket to Ride. We have 500 views. So where is these millions of people? Why they are not watching YouTube? And
Right.
for the upcoming weeks and days when I was trying to come up with different content ideas, I was discussing why people on YouTube are not consuming content. And that's why one of these videos was why gameplays suck. Apparently, I awakened the beast. I awakened the Twitch, and the community from Twitch was very offended because this is what they do. They do streams all the time. Like on YouTube, streams are gameplays are one of the many contents. There are reviews, there are interviews, etc. On Twitch, there is basically gameplay. So I accidentally stepped on the Twitch community, and that was unexpected and bad. But many of them said, our gameplays are very good. We are happy with our community. We maybe don't have a 500 viewers, or maybe we don't have a 1,000 viewers, but we are happy with the community. And Ignacy, don't attack us. We are happy with what we are doing. So my first question to you is this really true? And what I mean by this question is that if I turn the camera, that means that I want to show something to the world. Whatever I am a painter, whatever I am a singer, whatever I am a board gamer, I want to share my passion with people. And in my opinion, my natural drive is that I want to reach as many people as there is, whether I am a singer or painter or a board gamer. For me, this is the different case for me, and this is why the whole experiment. I'm a business person. I run the company. I want the rich to sell product. Let's say it very openly, right? But also the small streamer from Nashville or whatever, like a small city, he dreams to have 1,000 views or 5,000 views. This is my opinion. What you say as a psychologist, like we are really happy having only 7 viewers?
Okay, so I mean, it depends. So let's take the case of a mid-sized viewer, right? We're talking between like under 1,000, but over 500. So like a 500 to 1,000 views on a pretty regular basis in terms of their stream. So we're not talking, Critical Role or something like that.
Yep.
And we're not talking about the 7 views either. We're talking about kind of for what would be a middle size. So then the argument was, and I followed the argument in terms of the Twitch streams. The argument is that, okay, it's an engaged community. When you look at these views, when you look at these channels that have like the big numbers, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, are they really engaged? Or did they like click once and then move on? So then when you get to a really effective Twitch stream, and I'm going to talk to some people, Beat Core, Royal Gaviola, Amanda Panda. There's a lot of people, Brothers Murph, Paula Deming. So these are the people that I spoke with, or I heard speak and spoke with on different levels. What you get in those communities is like when they're there, they're engaged. So it's like you can have your thousands of views and it's almost like empty calories because they're not really engaged and they're just kind of like it's in the background, they're doing whatever. Or you have 300 to 500 people, all of whom comment, all of whom interact, and all of whom are kind of a part of that community experience. So then from a publisher perspective, you're looking at the raw number. But in terms of a gamer, because you're a gamer too, I saw that blog. You're not just an evil publisher getting numbers, like you're also a gamer. So from a gamer, doesn't that sound better to have a smaller but more active, more engaged group?
And I don't know, because on one hand, I'm proud that I recognize most of the nicks on my YouTube channel. When they comment, I recognize these nicks because I don't have many viewers. And also on one hand, I'm very happy and I'm proud and I can sometimes, tweet to them and they recognize, and this is cool. On the other hand, if I start a YouTube channel, I want to have these millions of viewers, and I want to be big and I want to have, paid ads or whatever, like to grow the thing. So yeah, I don't know. On one hand, I fully understand. We are happy with 20 people. We know each other. We just chit chat. But that's why we build a YouTube channel, yes, or why we build a Twitch channel. We really need a Twitch channel? Maybe we can just play on a Zoom, 20 people, right? So I don't know.
Okay, so I'll break that down. So then, okay, the quality will actually generate quantity, healthy quantity in the long run. So as I said before, when you rely on clickbait, and that's the best way to get the big views, like to get, to push the envelope, right? And so there's a video.
Dune 2 cancelled, and now we have a lot of views.
And there's a really great video by Veritas Serum, which I know you had, it was linked and it was watched. Maybe we could loop that the show note as well, talking about like pushing the envelope. And what you want to do to grow your channel, and the healthiest way is kind of like, you don't want to go full clickbait. You don't want to really cheese people off, but you don't want to put a dictionary definition in your title either. You want to, put a little sizzle on it. You want to get a provocative word, or you want to get something interesting, an open-ended question, something like that. So then there's a line that you want to try to find in a great channel. But let's say that you cross that line a little bit and you get the increased views as a result. Are you left with a community that is truly healthy? Are you left with a community that is truly like, maybe, certain people will come in here because we're tribal and we like to, people like to hang out with each other, but other people can't. So there's like, it's a bigger community, but there's barriers to it because like we're used to this clickbait, we're used to the inside jokes and all that stuff. Or are we going to plant seeds, these little communities here and there? It's not just, one Twitch stream. It's like there's streams all the time. You grow that healthy community that actually feels it's a good be here, and they become the ambassadors. Not only those 500 people are now going back to their home groups. Like you said before, why don't you just do a Zoom chat? Well, these are the most engaged people. They're the best at the Twitch streaming. They inspire the community to go back to their groups and play those games with them. So then one model, a big community, but it's kind of closed. Another model starts small, but then it can branch out and get bigger that way.
Jason, I'm so disagreeing with you. This will be the best interview on the internet. But you touch the topic that is from the whole mess that happened is bothering me the most. So we can discuss this if you agree in the details. And Rodney Smith, friend of mine, we play games together. We know each other for years. Like this is my Canadian friend, and he recorded video when he said that he's not angry at me, he's disappointed. And there was a lot of interaction with the fans as well. And he said in this video the one thing that super bothered me. And I saw also in a different Twitter responses a similar thing. And that thing is that if you go for the clickbait, if you do these cheat ideas to get viewers, we will get not valuable viewers. Like we will get
Right.
some people that we don't want in a community.
That's the
And
point that I'm
yeah,
making. Yes.
yeah. And it bothers me a lot. Like I don't like I understand that I was trying to cheat, and this is not Ignacy just doing that. This is the whole internet is trying to cheat, right?
Right.
But I was trying to cheat to grab some interest of some random people who never heard about Ignacy Trzewiczek, who never heard about Portal games that are board games, and this video just showed in their feed by YouTube and said, "Oh, interesting, gameplay suck." Well, I'll check what he says. Uh, but it doesn't mean that they are racist or pedophiles or some like scam people. No, they were board gamers who get intrigued by this video, checked it. Most of them say this guy can't even speak English, and they moved away. But some of them may stick, and I really feel super uncomfortable, even if I'm from Poland and I'm comfortable with many things. I feel very uncomfortable calling those people who click this video. This is not the community you want to have in your on your YouTube channel. I want them. These are board gamers who just got intrigued by this title, and the point I'm making is from my YouTube channel in Poland, and I will give you this story because it's like a that's why I had courage to start this clickbait. In Poland, last year I think it was last year or 2 years ago. My main competitor in Poland, Rebel Games, which is Asmodee Poland, a big publisher, and we are competing on Polish market, released the Nemesis, famous game, Polish edition of Nemesis, and there were some mistakes. So I did a clickbait title on my Polish YouTube channel that was saying, why in Nemesis are mistakes? And all the board gamers in Poland, knowing that we are competitors, expected that I will do, massacre on my competitor, yelling at them why there's mistakes in my competitor game. We had, and it was the only time I had it, we had more than 500 people in the chat, like a live stream, like everyone gathered watching that Ignacy will destroy Rebel Games Asmodee Poland. Instead, I prepared super detailed seminar about how the games are produced, why there are mistakes in games in general, how is the proofreading process, etc., etc., etc. So many of those people were disappointed there was no blood. But some of them said, wow, this guy actually it is not what I was expecting, but it was interesting seminar. And after this one video that has now more than 10,000 views, I got so much more subscribers, so much more people, and my channel grew. So yes, it was a trap. Yes, they were expecting for me to shoot at my competitor, but I tricked them and I showed them something valuable, and they stayed with me. And that's why I went for another clickbait here on English channel. So, but the bottom line is, why would we say that this board gamer, because if he's clicking gameplay, he's board gamer, he's bad viewer, bad person. I don't get it.
So I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying.
But you saw this comments like, you want to have these cheap viewers. This is you will get bad audience. You need to grow your audience better. Like, I got people who just clicked the.
Right. No, I look. I mean, it works. Bottom line, it works. It not only works to attract, the people who are like looking for a fight, but it does. I mean, it does. It interests people who would normally not be interested. And there's, like you said before, millions of gamers. We're only talking in the thousands. So like, you're gonna get people who, like that's probably the best paradigm of it, where it's like they wouldn't be paying attention because there's so much YouTube videos, and then they see the video and it's like this grabbed my attention now. Ooh. and
then I can try to win them, like, hey guys.
And they don't have a horse in the game, right? And I guess that's one of the big differences. They don't have a horse in the game. Like, it's not like in the Twitch streams, there's a lot of people who like don't, or the live plays. A lot of people don't really care about live plays. They just like, want to see what's going on. Ooh. So then first of all, there's always kind of a target to these. So then it's never just one. So it's like, okay, here's the target now, and then here's the target next time, here's the target next time. You're gonna run out of targets at a certain point, because if you gather certain people and then target others, and it's maybe the people you're gathering is larger, but you're targeting somebody, eventually you're gonna run out of people, and it's like, okay, they didn't like this, they didn't like this, they didn't like this. How long before the entire industry is going, oh, I don't like being targeted. You are going to run out of targets eventually. Is that right, Anasi?
I don't know. In Poland, how I try to grow my channel in Poland, it is much easier for me because I speak fluently Polish. Guess what?
Right.
So I'm much better with the video content. But every couple of videos, I on purpose try to find a topic that is like a clickbaity, and then I provide super valuable content to win over some of the people who was, well, that was interesting. So for instance, we have a title here in Poland for a video, why board games are so expensive. Oh, people will click it. And then I'm a publisher,
Sure.
so I say, this is how much paper costs, this is how much molds cost,
Mhm.
etc., etc. Some of them wanted a scandal. This guy is not scandalish. They go away. Some of them says, hey, this guy has interesting topics. I subscribe. So this how I grow this channel. So
Right.
I once again, I disagree that getting somebody interested in this clickbaity title means that he's a bad person and I don't want him in my community.
Okay, so then I don't want to be careful about it because I'm not saying on shelf stories. I always say, you know, I criticize practices, not people. You know, so like I never ever say, I never use those words, the ism words, and you know, it's like, and that's why it drew to my video because I didn't attack you. It's like, this is my thing,
Yeah, that's why
right? And here's the practice that I'm criticizing. So now I don't want to criticize any person. I don't want to say, okay, you're bad because you responded to clickbait. You want to fight. It's so I'll try to put in a psychological thing. So that's number one. Number one is you're going to run out of targets eventually. Number two
challenge
is
me.
you're going to tease off enough people eventually. The people that was like, I don't feel like being attacked. Okay. So then number two, and this is, I guess I'll say from a psychological perspective. So then when you interest somebody, when you tickle that fear. So then just to explain a little bit more about my video, I'm going to yada yada a lot of brain science, but then, you know, we basically have an upstairs brain and a downstairs brain. The upstairs brain is response to reason, response to love, response to like our higher functions, like what makes a human. And our fear brain is our lizard brain. It's the one that like the one that responds like fire. That's what we're doing. It's like, okay, that ancient instinct to just respond to fire. And like, what do we do? Fight or flight. So when you do clickbait, you do that. You give that, you hit that lizard brain. Some people can recover when they're there and just like, okay, nice. Okay, you got me by the lizard, but then my reason kicks in. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes people are just there, just ready to fight or ready to cause issues. And when you have a clickbait title, you've had some good experiences because you're not doing like, you don't do like the true clickbait. You dabble, you play. There are people who go further, right? And it's like, you know, they really do like you know, the big like, okay, you suck, that sucks, and I don't like the word suck in the title, but like it's repeated over and over again. You look at that community after a while. Look at that community after a while. So like some people are there and they're willing to be interested. Other people are there that are just they want to be a part of their tribe.
Do you think because after this Friday struggle, we obviously changed the title, changed miniature to not offend anyone. So now the title is why gameplays are boring. And then now, do you think that this is the clickbait that some of the because the views are going. So this is clickbaity enough for me. Like I have now is 2,000 views, but it is not crossing this border of encouraging people to be angry at me.
Right.
Or this is still too clickbaity. Like when you see the because we need to provoke a little bit to have this click. Yes.
Yeah, we need to
So
approach
when
the line without crossing it. That's the secret. Yeah. And so there's your so then that's going to be different for different people. And so it's like, I think at this point, like your response was fairly good. I think, you know, when Rodney posted his video and I posted my video, and a lot of other people, Benita had a big thread, and your responses were like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm running an experiment. That process kind of cued people in, whether they liked it or not, at least they understood where you were coming from. So not all clickbait goes that way. Some people just like, you know, they don't care. It's like, okay, the clicks are the clicks. And that's where we start to get into real problems. Because like you do the clickbait, people respond, and it's like, oh, well, you can't take a joke. You know, and now you have this big community that is in on an inside joke now. That's to me, like I think of it that way. Think of it like, okay, I put a clickbait title out. It's like, oh, that was just a joke. And now you have this, you know, maybe you have thousands of people, but they're in on an inside joke. That's a tribe. That's a tribe now. And that's where we get it. I think that's where we start to get into problems with our community. So you're not doing classic clickbait. You're straddling the line, which is actually a good thing to do. You stepped over it, but for the most part, you're straddling the line. I think there's enough creators who are just leaning towards that bait, or not just eating, or just people in the community. Like, you don't have to be a content creator. You could be, in a forum, a Discord, a big old Discord or whatever it is, where they're not as careful as you are, and they're just going for that, that base brain in on the joke kind of like approach. And that's where Rodney expressed his disappointment, because I think that you didn't go there, but you were kind of getting close to that. And Rodney's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, because what you are saying about the anger and how the fear brain works, I think that what happened on that very Friday, that when I posted this video, people get absolutely frenzy without checking who I am, without maybe even watching the video, just seeing, oh, this guy sucks, or like he's offending us. And that's why I'm saying at the very beginning, I'm sorry to Twitch community, but I feel hurt as well, because there was so many personal attacks on me on Twitter, and it was for the first time in my life. Like, I was always this funny dude from Poland who cannot speak English, but he tries. And for the first time, people were literally attacking me. This guy is a shit. This guy is a scam. Like, I was really surprised what I was reading on my. Yes, that was really insane. What happened?
That wasn't anybody I know.
Yeah,
right.
I hope I don't know these people too. So there was like super pure anger at me. So this is what you say, that something clicks in your brain and you don't control it, and you just go like, I just got hurt, so I push back.
Right. That's exactly what's happening. And the more we engage that practice, the more we say that's okay, the more we're going to invite that kind of reaction to people. So it's never about the one thing. It's always kind of like thinking ecologically. Like, if we indulge this as a practice, like, okay, click, and we say it's okay, and we don't kind of make amends. Like, again, you were in the things, you were in my comments, you were in Rodney's comments, you discussed. And we kind of got it. Like, we, not that we love being experimented on, but like, okay, that whatever. It makes sense to that, and we moved on pretty quickly. Not all stuff is like that. Like, and this is where we have to kind of have a more difficult conversation about harassment, and we don't talk about that enough. We don't talk about the harassment that happens at conventions, online, personal DMs. Going back to Rodney Smith, who I really hope is watching this video, because he's saying his name a lot. A couple days later, he posted a email that I think it was Paula Deming got, or one of the women that work with Watch and Play,
Paula,
and just being very gross, and and like, you can imagine that a male kind of like sending oh, do you like the size of my Warhammer collection, kind of thing, and just being really provocative. And we deal as a marginalized person. I'm a person of color, and or a woman, or LGBTQ. We deal with bullies and harassers all the time. So then they love this. They love the clickbait. They love, cheesing people off. It just so happens that a lot of the board game Trish streamers were also POC. So then when we see that, we're like, uh-oh, Ignacy is like, setting a signal flame, and here come the harassers again. So then you're seeing the reasonable.
And that was a surprise for me. And this is why, once again, I'm sorry. But I really felt super confused, because exactly those people, this community, and I'm not saying that I'm watching all these Twitch channels, but I know you guys. I know David Luza, who was singing songs about Robinson Crusoe. I know them from internet and some
there it is. It's right up there. I did not lie. Crusoe. It's right there.
and those people who I respect, and some of them I know personally, super angry at me, super attacking. And what you are saying, that this harassment and bad behavior in our industry sometimes happen. So these role models, these people who are creating content, who are positive, who are doing that, and this anger moment, when they felt hurt by me, they immediately decide to hurt me. Like, that was not like peace, Ignacio made a mistake, but we give a good example.
Well, by design, that's what the clickbait title did.
Yes, I accidentally hit them. But there was no like peace. There was like back.
I mean, that was
yes, and I was very, very sorry to see that suddenly I am, attacked.
So that was, I mean, okay. So a couple things there. That was baked in the title. Like that title was meant to provoke, and if you're gonna provoke, then that's what you get. And not that they not that that's a good thing. It's just the reality of how the human psychology works. You go for the fight or flight, you're going to get fight or flight. So then apologies, and you did a good job of fighting that back. So then it kind of passed by really quickly. I really want to hammer this point about harassment and how marginalized people, women, POCs, like we deal with harassment on a daily basis. We deal with death threats. We deal with, just for being on Twitch, and just for, it's like, oh, and or whatever, like, how many women on streams are like having guys come on there asking about their panties. Like, oh, what color is your panties? Like during a board game stream, it's like, well, get out of here, go. We don't want you. So then when you light a fire like that, the harassers that are like kind of like, skittering around like cockroaches, now they see something and now they're going to be attracted. And now, you're going to invite all these extra people. Great. You have all these extra people coming in, but it only takes one ogre among all the people to just ruin the dinner. Mm-hmm. If you got this clickbait thing, you got all these extra viewers, but then there's a harasser coming in there with you. And that's there. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I guess what the marginalized streamers were saying was, be really careful. Be more careful, because if you cross that line, this is what's going to happen to us.
Don't you think that these let's call them jerks, let's be honest, stupid people who show up, they will be, this is not entirely connected with the clickbait. It is when the channel is popular, there's more people, there's bigger chance of jerk being a part of the community. But it doesn't mean that if I pick a title, Asmodee is increasing the prices again, that means that the harasser says, oh, this is
that's not bad. Asmodee, no, it's like Asmodee are a bunch of jerks.
He said that.
Or I mean, there was another. This happened like 6 years ago. There was a content creator who was like, Asmodee, or like, these creators are sucking Asmodee's blankety blank.
Okay.
And like this was this was something that was said. So like we're talking like they really went for it because this person is like Asmodee. Then they get a lot of people that'll say, yeah, Asmodee could do this, getting the real that element of it. So let's really focus on what real clickbait is and real harassment is and real incitement is, because that happens. You brushed up against it, and that's where the outside's reaction was. So it's like, let's say I'm wounded, right? Let's say I have a wound and I've been wounded a number of times. So then someone else comes along and they don't really like punch the wound. It's more like they kind of brush against it. They didn't mean it. It was accidental, but they brush up against the wound. It's still gonna hurt. I'm gonna still like
So I have one more question. To be honest, if you don't mind, I would love to invite you for another thing, because I have more questions and I'm not sure if you can do it today. But one more thing, because this wound reference is amazing. So I accidentally, once again, I didn't want to, touched something that was already painful, and
that's what happened.
But do the content creators, don't they understand that it was a clickbait? I didn't mean it. That was just a full play to get people to the views. Like they really thought that this clickbait title is my honest thinking. Do we understand? But what my question is that, do we all understand that the clickbait is just a trap to get the clicks? It is not the statement of the actual thing in most cases, right? Mm-hmm. So they would, like, my perception would be like, oh, Ignacy is pathetic, such a clickbaity title, he's stupid. Not, he really thinks that my gameplay sucks, oh my god, this is so bad. Like, I never thought like that, right? It was just like getting views.
Well, okay, so then and this is again Rodney's point, but what a wise guy. What kinds of views are you getting?
I disagree. I got board gamers. Don't tell I got bad viewers. These were board gamers who just got in my trap.
And most of the board gamers that are caught in the trap are perfectly wonderful human beings. I'm happy to play with them at the table. I get caught in clickbait myself. I got sucked in. You got me, Ignacy. And I'm not going to say I'm a bad person at all. I guess the more you press, the more you go down that road, the more that you are, let's say it's like 1,000 gamers and then one jerk, or even among those, who are nice people, they're people that just kind of make stupid comments and they do inside jokes and they're, or whatever. So then even a very small percentage of that can spoil the pot.
Okay.
Even can cause that wound that then, we have to carry. And then, and then we have people that just gonna like touch the wound every once in a while because they're being careless, because they don't have the experience. Ignacy isn't treated as much like a, that kind of person won't treat Ignacy Trevicek as like they will treat Jason Perez or treat Pina Takura or anybody else. Those kind of people. That's just the world we live in.
I had a private discussion with one of my industry friends, and what was said there, that if the publisher says that the gameplays are boring, I will not use this the other word,
Right.
that is not good, because these streamers do it in most cases for free to present the game. It is a free advertisement of the game if the game is good, and then the publisher saying this is not a good content is like much more offensive than if random dude would do that. Do you think that the fact that I put this clickbaity title and not some other person was like additional oil added to the fireplace, or it was not?
I think it lends the impression that the only thing that matters in content is numbers.
But like for the business part, for the business person, it is. Right.
And that's where we're at attention, right? I mean, when it comes to content creators, that leads to burnout, that leads to like when the people like seek numbers. And I've spoken to people who want to get their numbers up and what the things they have to do to track the algorithm and, have push the border or clickbait, like that can be very exhausting. And then it becomes a business, right? So then that's where the community, like they have a difficult relationship with content creators too, because, we're shills. We're this and we're that. Like the community is constantly kind of, talking about us, accusing us of stuff. Oh, they're just after numbers. They're just after this. So then like I want to try to keep that intention. Like it can't just be about numbers. They're important. They have to be about numbers, but there has to also be this quality. Like we have to cultivate a good community too. And so we're trying to find that balance. So like when you engage in all this clickbait, now you're kind of, putting the thumb on the scale towards now it's all about numbers. And I think that has an effect. I mean, I think that we're not as kind to each other. We're more skeptical of each other. We're more distrusting of each other. That's because, when you constantly press this button, then we, use it or lose it. Like we become less reasonable, less willing to be charitable. Like that's all this function. This is like the older brother. This will just beat up the upstairs brain if we keep on feeding it. And that means that we, so the numbers are important, but I think at the cost of a good, healthy community, that's where I have a question. So it's a balance. I think it's a balance. We have to find the good balance.
I have a huge topic, but I will just tease the topic and ask you and our community if they enjoyed this talk and if they want us to meet again. I would love to. My next question was, but I think this is like a big topic, and the question was why we're afraid of change. Like if I criticize, everyone gets defensive because, oh, he criticized me, without thinking maybe this is a part for the change. And this is one of the part of the experiment I'm doing. Like every day I'm trying to record a video with completely different topic because I'm struggling to get my views and struggling to find the best content. So I'm looking for the criticism. I'm looking for somebody who tells me, Ignacio, you're doing it wrong, change it. And then when I said openly, gameplays are boring, let's change them, the community get like, Ignacio, you are not right.
I have actually, it's not that big a question. I have a very easy way to go about that. There's a very easy answer. Build a relationship, build that level of trust, build a reputation as someone who consistently offers constructive criticism. Criticism is always better when there's a relationship. Like, I mean, how long, have you had that previous relationship with people who are doing live streams? Have you said, here's vlog 10, here's vlog 17. I talk about this, talk about this. I offered, partnerships and Portal games, and we, brought them on and we host them on channel. And so like, you get to know these people and then you come in with a vlog. Oh, well, your numbers are not where they should be. What are we talking about here? Then it becomes much more well-received than something that kind of comes out of the blue. So I think that we can train ourselves to be more receptive to criticism if we were to cultivate that community. That goes back to what, like, now we're getting back to the thing I'm talking about, cultivating that community. That's relationship, that's trust, that's kindness, that's consistency. That is all these things that can be good if we don't just poke the bear at much. So then when you build that, then you could poke the bear a little bit. And it's received in a much better spirit.
Yeah, I already pissed off YouTubers in Poland back then when I released the video that the YouTube reach is pathetic. That was an English translation of the title, and I said I showed the numbers. This is the numbers of the biggest reviewer in Poland. These are the numbers of average reviewer in Poland. These are the numbers for Tom Vassell, and this is how many games we sell. Look at these numbers. It doesn't make sense. Our reach is pathetic, and what we can change. And then everybody get angry at me. Because I was not thinking about making relationship. I'm more analytical guy. I look at the numbers. I see these numbers are bad. What we can do about this? And when you say that I should be more connected with the people that I'm discussing with, that's for sure. But on the other hand, when I'm coming up with the ideas and analytics of different areas of our industry, I cannot spend 6 months first to get to know these people, so then I can post a video.
Right. And so, okay, I mean, so think of it this way, right? I mean, so you're doing the best you can, right? But at the end of the day, you're in analytics and all kind of stuff. And then you post a video that says board game live streams suck. And then the people you piss off respond. It's not just there's not a conversation with you anymore. There is a cloud of jerks behind you that yeah, I agree with Ignacy, you suck. And like okay, so a perfect example.
And I have to admit, there were comments like that. Many people
Right.
who said, yes, I'm not watching board game gameplays, they are not interesting. You're right.
Yeah, so you all like it's almost like we're talking, because of social media, we're never talking privately, we're always talking like a sports arena. And so like only the loudest thing will get to the back row, and the back row is where all the trolls hang out. So then this happened with Rado. And I've spoken to Rado about this, so I have a lot of relationship with this. I don't think he minds me saying this. So Rado put out one of his podcasts where he just like talks about everybody. It talks about, okay, this person's during, it was like right after like BLM, it's like, okay, and the Danielle Tassini thing, and defend this Danielle Tassini, and all that kind of stuff. You don't know what it is, look it up. There's things going long enough. So he really called out a lot of people. And so what ended up happening was people are saying, Rado, you're wrong. This is what Tassini said was bad. And those people who spoke up got private messages, literal death threats, saying, leave Rado alone, you effing, whatever word. And so Rado is just speaking his piece. And I that's fine. And he's getting the views. Like that got way more views and everything because he's calling people out. But then, and you get more people, you get all that stuff happens. It's just there's always a harassing element that comes in afterwards that you need to take ownership of it too. Like, if you open your table to a certain, you have to accept everybody who comes in. It isn't just like, oh, I'm going to take the reasonable people. You open the door to harassers too. And the harassers always go after the POC and the marginalized people. Always. Always. So then I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be careful and be aware and build that relationship and build as much. And this is what we're doing right now. Like this counts. Like we're building a relationship. And I hope that, we can continue to understand each other and build relationships. I want you to be successful, Ignacy. I want you to have numbers. I want you to have, lots of views. I want you to have lots of sales for Portal Games. I want Robinson Crusoe on every shelf in the world. I really do.
And now we agree.
I just think that there are lines to cross. There's ways to do it, and there's lines to cross. That's kind of all I want to contribute. But the spirit of this is more games, more people, more sales, more broad reach. I just don't want to get there by cheating, if that makes sense.
I will cheat in the future, but I will do it in a much more delicate way and subtle. And before coming up with the idea for the video, think 2 or 3 times if it is not offending somebody, because that was the case here.
There's a line, right? You could approach the line without really crossing it. And if you cross it, like understand what the consequences are. Like this isn't cancel culture. This is like just inviting people to understand that there are consequences to whatever you do.
And at the end, I would like to invite everyone, because this is the bottom line of the whole experiment. Like the video was just a part of the experiment. Hey guys, hey YouTubers, hey Twitchers, we have to figure out how to make these millions of people who play board games to find out about us, because I know that we love what we do, and I love talking to camera and having the community and discussing and seeing each other and doing live streams, etc., etc. That's fun stuff. But we need more people watching us, because otherwise
Sure.
the whole work, it's fine, it's cool if you are doing just to hang out with friends. That's amazing, right? But if you are a reviewer, if you are a YouTuber who wants to grow, we need all together to figure out how to make better content, because even the famous Tom Vassell, like, these numbers are not very high if you compare with the 2.5 million users of Board Game Geek. Why these people are not on YouTube?
I am wondering how many of those are active users. I'm wondering how many of those actually stick around. Like we talk about those top line numbers, and you always have to question how many of those are really engaged and are willing to watch a YouTube stream. And
On the
I
one
don't
hand,
know. I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
On the one hand, you are absolutely right. And for years, Board Game Geek website was so not user friendly that those people who bought Ticket to Ride or Catan or Carcassonne, they typed in Board Game Geek and they closed before even it loaded, because it was so difficult to navigate. But even if we think that from these 2.5 million BGG users, there is only 1 million active users, why we are not reaching these 7 million people who bought Ticket to Ride? Yes, why we are not reaching these 5 million people who bought Pandemic? Where are these people? And this is the whole point of experiment, once again, to give the context. And that's why I was complaining on streams, because I was trying to find out how to improve them, how to make them better.
Okay.
Jason, I super appreciate your time.
Thank you.
uh,
Thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate this conversation.
I said it in a DM. I said it once again here officially. I super appreciate your approach to my video. Like, your response was super,
Mhm.
super wise and cultural and on point, without you know um, burning me like many other
I
people on
want you to be
Twitter.
successful. I told okay, and I said this in the video, like you were literally the first kind of big board game person that appeared in my show when 50 people watched it, because I mentioned First Martians, you were getting the word out. So, but you gave
Yep.
me time in 2016. My podcast at the time was called Every Night is Game Night for solo gamers. And then, we had a chance to kind of pop in every now and again. So, I mean, I have so much love for you. I have so much love for Portal Games, and we don't agree. Like you have your, we do not agree, and you have your. I understand. The thing is that the Bible thing. I understand why we don't agree. I understand what you're trying to do, and I want what you want. I want the bigger portal, more games, more sales. I want that. I just think that there are good and bad ways to do it, and so we'll continue that conversation. Absolutely.
Yep. This is the exactly, like, because for me this is a business decision, right? To grow my channel, and I cannot stop with having less people, and that's fine. This is not
Right.
fine for the business. The business has to grow, and now the question is, can the business do it in a good way, not in a bad way, right?
Yeah, and the good way is, and this is where we'll link the Veritasirum video. Um, approach the line. Be willing to approach the line. Be willing to kind of tickle people. Like, I mean, in my channel, which is not a big channel because I'm not monetizing, I don't really care, but I want attention. I'll put difficult words, cultural appropriation, nudity. I'll never put nudity in the title again because I get all the porn spam. I put difficult words to get people to attend, and I do that on purpose. I really try to approach that line without crossing it. And so for some people I do, that's inevitable. And as a matter of fact, if you are getting just a few people that are getting cheesed off, that's actually a good sign, because then that means that you're close to the line, as long as you don't cross it and piss off too many people. So then you continue to push the line, continue to get to put, interest people, titillate people, do all those things. I will be here if you cross it.
Yep. And guys, remember, and the whole point is that we try to get interest. We want to get this click, but then you provide the value. Then do something good and do a great video. So those people who fall in your trap will stay with your channel because you did something interesting. And I think this is the 10th bottom line, because we cannot stop talking. The whole mentioned
So
video
good.
was not so good, to be honest. Like, I recorded a few days later my 5 cents about gameplay, when I thought longer about this, when I read the comments from the people, and then I re-recorded my gameplay opinion, why I think they can be better. But this Friday video with this clickbaity title actually was not a very good video in the end, and that was also the problem. Maybe if it was much better prepared, maybe a little bit less anger. But the anger was anyway. Jason, for the fifth time, thank you for being with me
Love you,
today.
Ignacy. Love you, Ignacy. Anytime.
Thank you, Jason. Guys, we will link below to the mentioned video about the clickbait. We'll link to the Jason video about the psychology brain. Watch it. It was very interesting. And if you have biology class, you will get A from the class when you watch this video, because I learned so much more about the brain. And Jason, have a great day. Thank you for being here with me. And hopefully we'll have some more topics in the future, but not me messing up something, but like more positive topics to discuss. Thank you.
Or a fight. We could, if we want to get more views, we'll get into a fight in 6 months.
Take care.
Later, everybody.